White, North South, and Eford Pontiac.
Look for us, we'll always be there. TV 15 cares, we'll be there like a trusted friend. When news breaks, time and again. Action News is everywhere. Look for us, we'll be there. Action News is everywhere. WPDE.
Along with the Action News team, the National Hurricane Center in Miami is also keeping close tabs on Hurricane Hugo. Bob Sheets, the director of the center, joined us now. Bob, first of all, thanks for being with us. And what's the flow of the storm right now?
Well, it's not all that good news for you. Your probabilities picked up markedly here in the past few hours. The center of the hurricane has been moving right along on that northwest track, and indeed that could put you in the right side of the hurricane where you could get the maximum impact.
My next question was that's the understanding that I'm aware of, that the right side of the hurricane is the worst part, and that's what could hit us.
That's right, and we also have a fairly large eye, as you can see here on the satellite picture. That's about 40 to 50 miles across, and if you look in here in a close-up of that, here's the eye right here. This is a high-resolution satellite picture. Here's the eye wall, and so you would be over in this section over here, and so that could be considerable problems for you.
There's been a lot of concern and a lot of talk about the folks on the inland not knowing what to expect. What might they expect not being on the coast, getting the brunt of it?
As you get on inland, the problems will be the heavy rains, probably some tornadoes maybe later today in some of these outer bands, and then tomorrow more tornadoes as a result of these, and well, the trough of that's coming along from the west, and then heavy rain.
At this point, Bob, to your best indication, when might it hit landfall at this current speed?
The center should pass the coast sometime tomorrow morning, but of course the weather is going to be there and starting to get there now.
So we should expect things to worsen this afternoon and the brunt of it being the effect early tomorrow morning?
It'll be worsening slowly this afternoon, get a little bit worse, and then start to get worse much quicker over a shorter period of time here tonight.
Okay, Bob, where do you think the brunt of it will hit the most? What part of the coastline?
The highest probabilities are in the area from Savannah up through Wilmington, and of course you're right here in the heart of all of this. So indeed, your probability is just about as high as Charleston. Charleston is the highest. You're on the right side right there.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much for joining us. Okay. Bob Sheets, the director of the National Hurricane Center in Miami. Well, as for the local perspective, Lisa Moser joined us now to give us an update on how things are shaping up here in the PD and the Grand Strand. Lisa?
Good afternoon once again, Roger. Also, one other thing we should point out is that when that brunt of the hurricane does hit, which is expected sometime early Friday morning, we will be in the process of a high tide. So that will create double problems as far as our coastal erosion. We're concerned with that. Gale winds, literally a lot of water just being thrown on land at that high tide when the brunt of the hurricane is expected to hit. Now, we do have a location. I know we're very short on time. 29.5 north, 77.0 west, Roger, the present noon location of Hurricane Hugo.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. Well, Tim Kenny is standing by on the Grand Strand. And Tim, some 5 years ago, Diana threatened the coast. You were there then. What are the comparisons to now, back to then?
Well, Roger, when Hurricane Diana shadowboxed really with the Grand Strand area for a couple of days and then finally moved inland in the Wilmington area, it was a very different situation. The storm sat off the coast for a couple of days. People kind of dropped their guard somewhat. That's not what's happened here. As you know and as everyone else knows, we have been watching Hugo very carefully since the storm developed way out in the Caribbean and has moved this way steadily. I think people are taking this storm much more seriously than they did Diana really 5 years ago this week. They are ready as you can expect people to be. Earlier this morning, there were still folks walking along the beach. That's not happening now. Folks are taking this very, very seriously. As you mentioned earlier in this broadcast, the highways out of Myrtle Beach are really just gridlocked, so to speak. So there have been last-minute evacuees. There are thousands of people leaving the beach at this hour. But again, to recap, comparing it to 5 years ago, folks are taking this storm a lot more seriously. One more quick note, watch out for thunderstorms in the inland areas. A lot of moisture blowing inland right now.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much. That's Tim Kenny reporting live from the Grand Strand. Once again, we need to caution everyone all along the Grand Strand to please start to evacuate. By 3 o'clock, the governor has asked everyone to be off of the coast, moving inland. We, of course, will have more details right after this. Stay with us.
When you see news happen, call the WPDE TV newsroom, 1-800-868-NEWS. Toll free from anywhere in North or South Carolina.
It's a buyer's market at Bruce Krantz Dodge.
And once again, let's check in with Lisa now and give us a final update on what we can expect with HUGO.
Well, you know, Roger, also we have to be very careful as far as flash flood watches and warnings this afternoon. We already have some flash flood warnings in effect, and of course that will increase throughout the day today. That could cause some problems with traveling, so do pay attention to what warnings and watches are out. Also, strong warnings for winds will be out this evening and this afternoon, Roger.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. Okay, let's switch back down to Myrtle Beach, where Tim Kinney is standing by live again. Tim, what seems to be the mood now as the storm begins to approach?
Well, Roger, as I said a moment ago, people are taking this storm very seriously, as they should. The fact that the winds are gusting, the fact that the clouds are building inland really paint a kind of an ominous picture here. I'd say we're gusting into the 40-mile-an-hour range, so people...
Okay, we apologize. We've just lost our signal down to the beach. But as Tim Kinney was mentioning, the conditions are worsening down there. The winds are gusting. We, of course, will be back with more right after this. Stay with us.
Prices in the Carolinas.
Time to play Cash Call in the Carolinas, where you're watching. Last week we gave away over $500, and today it looks like we're going to give away $1,500. Know that amount when I call you. $1,500 on the line for Cash Call today, and would you believe it? A busy number on Cash Call.
While final preparations are being made along the coast, inland preparations are also being made. Florence city officials are asking residents to stay off city streets as much as possible today. They say hotels in the area are already filling up with people from the coastal area, and they expect many drivers who are unfamiliar with city streets to be driving around. Some of those streets have already been marked for closing: Chevis Street at the underpass, portions of Palmetto Street, Edisto Street, and Jeffries Creek, the intersection of North Irby and Lucas, and portions of North Dargan. These streets are known to flood during heavy rain and will be closed to traffic when the storm hits. Once again, let's check in with Lisa with a final update on HUGO. Lisa?
Good afternoon once again, Roger. Only 300 miles offshore is the eye of Hurricane HUGO. It won't be long before we will feel some stronger winds. Now, the brunt of the storm, sustained winds at 115 miles per hour, but by this afternoon, we will begin to feel some forced storm winds. No doubt about it, Roger. It won't be long now.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. And once again, that's our report on this noon. People on the Grand Strand need to be moving inland, making preparations. And as far as inland conditions go, people need to be batting down the hatches, so to speak. That's our report now. We are at the calm before the storm. We will be providing you exclusive live coverage throughout the afternoon. Stay tuned to TV 15 for more details. From all of us here, have a great afternoon. So long, everyone.
Tempest Incorporated. I'm sorry, but Mr. Masters is